If you are new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
So we're going to talk about 5 container garden tips to help your container succeed this year. Many people may not have the availability to have a garden in the ground or a raised bed, and maybe you just have a patio porch deck in which you have a number of containers on it.
Or maybe that's all you want.
That's all you want, or all you feel you can handle. So we're going to go over 5. Well, we got 6 here. So you get a bonus one for free of tips that how you can improve your container garden. So let's go with number 1 here, Holly.
So you want to get a container that is the right size for the plant you're growing. There's many different sizes of containers. People will ask me, what's a simple container that I can get that I can grow a tomato plant in? And my answer is always a 5-gallon bucket.
With drainage.
With drainage. And that's the important thing, is that you have to think about about the drainage. You don't want to flood your plants. You want to have it so that the water can come out.
Now, if you want a really eye-pleasing grow bag, rootmaker.com has them between 1 and 60 gallons. They have they're porous. The water will go through, and they'll air prune the roots. You don't have to worry about drainage. And they are from a few dollars to $20 or $30 based on the size.
And the 60-gallon grow bag, that's about 3 feet across. So you can fit a lot in there. Now, again, going back to the size of your container and what you're growing, you typically wouldn't grow lettuce in a 60-gallon grow bag. You could grow lettuce has shallow roots, so you could grow lettuce in just a smaller container. You could take a 1-gallon milk carton or water carton or jug, I guess, and just cut the base around that and have about 3 to 4 inches, and you could grow lettuce in that. So you have to kind of think about what's underneath the soil as well.
But the smaller amount of soil you have in that container, the quicker it will dry out. Now, lettuce can be grown on a windowsill with a couple of inches of soil, but you're going to have to water it more frequently if you have a very thin layer or 1 or 2 inches of soil in that container versus 5 or 6. It's just physics on that. So you want a container. And if you're doing a 5-gallon bucket with the drainage, here's what you want to do. You want to put holes, either one in the bottom, and either you can do it simply by drilling holes or puncturing them with a nail or cracking the bottom of the bucket, or you can actually come up 1 inch or 2 inches around the side of the bucket and drill multiple holes, and then that actually acts as a water reservoir that wicks the water back up. It'll drain, if you get too much water, it'll drain out those holes that are 1 to 2 inches up the side, but that 1 to 2 inch basin actually holds water and it will wick it back up, kind of like a miniature self-watering container.
Yeah.
So that's another way to do it. Also, if you're doing plants like eggplant, for example, if you can get a black container, they love root heat. The hotter the root, 95, 100 degrees, they love it. As long as you can keep the moisture to it, they'll flourish. So we've grown them in the Root Maker has some molded containers that are black, and they love those containers because they absorb the heat. We keep them moist. They do phenomenal.
So you want also a good potting mix. You want to make sure you're planting in something that's good, nutrient rich for your plants. You don't want to take the soil from your garden because, one, you don't know if that's nutrient rich. Also, it could have weed seeds or it could be compacted. We grow our onions and carrots exclusively in portable raised beds, which is a container type situation because we can fill it with that compost and it's nice and loose and has a good loam, and it allows for those root crops to grow successfully.
Right, just like you heard, Purple Cow has a great line of...
Yeah, they have a really nice potting soil mix. It's scientifically formulated so your plants are ready to pick up those nutrients. It's great for all types of containers, and it's environmentally friendly because it contains an organic fertilizer that's not a petroleum base.
Right. Also, proper amount of light. If you're growing tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, cucumbers, you need them in full sun. If you're growing leafy greens or cabbage or herbs or something, partial shade, 4 to 6 hours on those partial shade vegetables, 3 to 4 hours on the herbs will be just fine.
Right.
Consistent
watering, and that's huge. Is that, as Joey mentioned before, smaller container, the more you have to water it. That's something that you definitely have to keep in mind. Even if you have a larger container, once we get to those hotter portions of the summer, the longer parts of the day where the containers will dry out faster, sometimes you might have to water in the morning and the evening. So you need to be mindful. You need to think of your containers all the time.
And Plant Booster, one of the sponsors, it's a self-watering system that's not a plug-in thing. It's all gravity fed, and you set sensors underneath the containers or in the basket, and when it needs the water, it pulls it from the reservoir, so it works out really good. And that's plantbooster.com. phenomenal invention in which can save your containers so you don't have to water as frequently or if you forget.
One thing we have here is nutrients. And that's important because you, like we had said, you want to use a good compost or a good potting soil in your containers. But throughout the season, as you're watering them, some of those nutrients are going to wash away. So leach out. Halfway through the season, you want to give it a nice boost with either granular fertilizer or liquid fertilizer, compost tea, and just kind of feed your plants or feed the soil, and that will feed your plants.
And you want to be aware of this prior to the plant showing you symptoms. You can do a regular feed every week, a compost tea, a manure tea, just to continue to feed the soil to feed the plant. And as we talked about in the first segment, mulch. You can mulch your containers with shredded leaves, dry grass clippings, chemical-free grass clippings, any type of straw, any type to hold, because the container, again, is a smaller unit. And by holding that moisture in, it's going to keep the plant happier because it's going to have the water, and it's not going to dry out. A dried out plant is a stressed plant. You're already destroying the cells in the plant, and then you've got an injured plant in which you're trying to revive to give you produce.
And just like any gardening problem you have, if your plants are healthy, they're going to fight off bad things a little bit easier than if your plant is not healthy or it's been stressed out. It does damage the cell walls of the plants if you're not consistently keeping that plant healthy.
Absolutely.
Thank you for checking out the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show. For more, go to the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com for full-length in-studio video and podcast replay of Season 1. Season 2 underway and added weekly. Tweet us at TWVG Show or hashtag TWVG to be part of the program.